What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. You made it. It's the Friday Live with Lauren show. I have one of my favorite guests of all time on the show today. I'm so happy she's back. You probably know who it is. While you're joining, while LinkedIn is telling you that we're live, are they telling you we're live? One, let me know. Would you share the show if you're popping in right now? Let some other people know you're about to learn some things. You're going to level up your career and you're going to laugh a lot in the next hour. I promise you that. Start telling me in the comments, where are you joining from? I want to know. I'm in South Florida. It's actually beautiful today. Anybody up north, hate to rub it in. I'm going to the beach tomorrow. So hope the weather is nice where you are. It's gorgeous down here. Tell me where you are. And let me find my special guest and see if I can get her out here. Oh, Leslie.
It's me.
It's you.
Yay. I'm so happy to be here again. Lucky
That's
number
repeat.
3. Yeah, lucky number 3. It is stunning in Chicago today. It is 60 and sunny.
Okay.
Like, I know that might not sound gorgeous, but it is like, it is perfect shacket weather, right? Like perfect fall shacket weather.
Yes, we don't really wear those in Florida, but I will say I'll take 60 if it's sunny. If it's not sunny, I'm a Floridian through and through, and I couldn't handle it. But sunny 60, I would take.
Have a shacket that I keep at our house in Tampa because it can get chilly in the morning.
More so in Tampa than where I am. I'm a little bit further south and east. It's just true. I don't think I've actually worn a jacket that I've really needed to wear other than for fashion purposes in 6 or 7 years.
That's insane. How don't you crave cozy?
No.
Okay, good talk. We've done what we came to do here. I'll see you next time.
Leslie's like, goodbye. That was fun. Okay, Leslie, while people are joining, where they're telling us where they're from too, why don't you give us all an intro? Obviously, I know all about you. I think most of my network does, but tell us all, who is Leslie Venetz?
Yeah, hi team. Thanks so much for joining. Keep the comments rocking during this conversation. That is my favorite thing when the chat is just blowing up. I am the founder of the Sales Led Go to Market agency. So I help organizations come in and either build a strategy or figure out what gaps they have in their current sales strategy. I love outbound. Like, that is my obsession. So anytime I get to work on outbound strategy, building repeatable processes, and then enabling and empowering the team to execute those processes, that strategy, that is what fills my cup, which is just really something. And I also run a book club. I have 2 other companies. One is Revenue Revelry, which Lauren came to one of the events in Tampa. And then also a monetized business book club, a Patreon business book club. So I'm booked and busy.
I love that, though. I mean, that's important. Being busy means that we're not bored. And if I was bored, I would be going crazy. All right, I want to bring up the thing that you talked about, which are the comments. Y'all, you can ask your questions in the chat, in the comments. If we can answer them, we will. And I really quick want to say what's up to everybody who's joined so far. Jesse, happy Friday to you. You made it. Pat yourself on the back. Hello, Naveen. Tom from Boston. What's the weather like in Boston today? Let me know. We got another Boca here. It's beautiful, Randy. Mark and Randy both in the house. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Jackie is in Michigan, and they have sun. Maybe like
she's feeling those Midwest vibes with me. Yeah,
what's this thing? India's in the house. We got Nashville. Chris Jarvis. What's up, Chris Jarvis? I'm glad it's showing up today. Skokie? How do you say that?
Skokie. Yeah, it's a suburb of Chicago. Yeah.
There we go. I don't know.
Hi, David.
I've never been to Chicago. We got to get up there soon.
Absurd.
Ugh, soon enough, we're gonna make it happen. This is my mother. She's in Tennessee. Hi, Mom. Hi, Jody's in Pennsylvania. Oh, she's got cold weather. Hate that for you, Jody. Boo. Come visit Florida. We got New York. What's up, Kevin? We got Lake Lanier in the house. I bet it's beautiful there right now. And then happy Friday, John. All right, y'all. And Leslie meant it. the magic happens in the comments. Like last week, we had somebody commenting and they were looking for a certain thing or asking questions about something that we weren't experts in. And then somebody else in the comments, was like, you should look at this person and literally referred them. Like that's why there's so much magic in the comments. So talk to the people and have conversations. And it keeps us going too.
I
Uh,
love it.
Tom answered. He says it's sunny and cool. I love that for you.
That's my vibe right now. It is like perfect fall weather for me. Obviously, not for Lauren, who has never craved cozy. I like crave cozy. Like I can't wait for fall when I get to put on like a light sweater and a jacket and like light my fall candles, and it's like a whole vibe.
No, I'm the person who's like bragging about going to the beach at Christmas. So I'm like, I had a bathing suit and y'all have fun by the fire.
Okay, well maybe we'll see each other later this month in Florida,
Yes.
and we can do beach vibes together.
You could bring me a jacket and we'll see how I look. Okay, really quick before we get going, we got Sendoso in the house. They are our official gifting sponsor. You can comment hashtag Sendoso. Today we're giving away Dorothy Lane Killer Brownie Cookie Dough 5-count bars. They have to be shipped to the USA, but you can win this from anywhere in the world. You just have to ship them to someone in the USA, and you can comment Sendoso to win those. I will move Leslie and I up and I will show you what it looks like because you know everybody loves a visual.
Ooh,
Look at that. That's
good.
your box of brownie cookie dough. I think it said chocolate chip, caramel chunks, cookie dough topping. I don't know. It looks yummy. I'm not eating that right now, so I'm going to go back to my almonds while we snack. But I'm going to keep shipping y'all the good stuff. Last week, Andrew Gibbs won some chocolate, and I got a notice right before the show that it was delivered today, y'all. So enter to win, and you could literally have this by next week, as long as I do my job and ship it quickly.
I love that. We love our friends at Sendoso.
Yes, we do. Okay, so last time, comment Sendoso to win. And we're going to jump into the show. We have 4 fun topics. We'll probably get off track, just being very honest with you all. If we don't cover all 4, maybe Leslie will come back for another time. We don't know. I did officially confirm the show is coming back next year. So, Leslie, snap, snaps. All right, let's jump into it. We're going to talk about mastering soft skills for career advancement. We all know how important hard skills are. We all know how important you have to have these certain requirements to get the interview, to get the job. You have to have the hard skills, right? But soft skills are less spoken about, and they really can make a difference in the overall trajectory of your career. So, Leslie, take us away. If there's somebody working who maybe wants to advance their career, or even somebody who's a job seeker, what are we telling them right now about soft skills and the importance?
Yeah. Okay. And I have to say, we picked this topic a while ago, but our timing is chef's kiss, because one of the top 5 trending articles on LinkedIn today was soft skills still reign supreme. So it's like in the trending LinkedIn news top stories if people want to check it out after they get done hanging out with us. But I was like, wow, we know what the zeitgeist is talking about. And what made me feel like this was a compelling topic? I mean, first of all, you know people, right? Like, you know people really well. I've managed sales people for, over 15 years. And with the influx of AI, I'm seeing the conversation around soft skills happen even less frequently. But when I talk to hiring managers, they're like, yeah, I mean, lots of people have hard skills. That tends to be even across the board. What makes candidates stand out is hard skills. Like, there was a ton of data that came out last year about what the most coveted skills are for Fortune 500 CFO hires. Folks, they weren't being able to run a P&L. Like, that's table stakes if you're applying for that role. It was skills like having a high emotional quotient, like having interpersonal communication skills. And so I thought that would be like such an interesting thing to get started with. Maybe, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Because you're obviously talking to a lot of hiring managers.
Yep.
What are the top 1 or 2 soft skills that you hear them mentioning the most?
I mean, one, I think it depends on the industry. right? Because I'm working with a lot of different industries right now. If it's sales, I think we all know we want somebody who's hungry, who's showing up, who's willing to do the extra work. I think right now a lot of people are using AI as a crutch and we're using it as a shortcut. And one of the soft skills, in my opinion, is being willing to actually show up and put yourself out there and being willing to fail, right? And I know that sounds crazy, but being vulnerable in certain moments instead of saying, oh, I can, like a lot of people just act like they can do it all. And y'all, when you're applying for a role, the job is not that you can just do everything. There's things you're going to have to learn. And being able to use your soft skills and understand when you can have these conversations, when you can actually talk to people for that assistance, I think is super important. Especially in a career like sales, because so many people just want to go right out the gate, and then you're not successful because you didn't learn the right process through the whole thing. And using our soft skills to be able to talk about that process helps throughout the way. But I think it's different in other industries. I think in other industries right now, and I don't really know if empathy is the right word, but I think right now a lot of teams have gone through a lot of transitions. There's been a lot of turnover and turmoil in general in the last few years and months and in the job market in general. And when I'm talking to hiring managers, they want to know that somebody's coming on the team who's going to have empathy for others, who's really going to be a good team player overall, who's going to be thinking about what the other people need and how we can succeed overall instead of like individual stats. They don't want somebody who's going to come in and just say, me, how can I be better? They want a team player and they want somebody who's going to exude that and be able to talk about that.
Oof. I think that is such a powerful and interesting contrast with what the people are saying, right? Like we see this trend towards individualism and this trend towards, like I absolutely despise the phrase quiet quitting, but it like there is this sort of quiet quitting thing going on, which let me be clear, I think it is 100% fine to like have a job for a paycheck. Like you don't have to aspire to leadership and aspire to change the world. You can get the meaning from your life outside of your work. But like at a time where I think there is a more individual focus and like I'm just showing up for my paycheck focus, to hear that leaders are really asking for folks that are going to show up and do like what I would categorize as like emotional labor, the emotional labor of like being a team player, of deeply caring for others, of exercising empathy. That's an interesting
We've
contrast.
shifted into a very much it's a me society. And how can I do better? How can I make more money? How can I have like I get it. I want more money. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to advance yourself. But I think a lot of times people are kind of losing sight of the fact that no, we don't want to be a family at work. Nobody wants to go back to being a family at work. Your family is at home. You're going to be on a team, but being on a team means understanding who plays where and when and why, and being able to support them in those positions. And we want somebody to show up as a team player. If you want to be by yourself, go play golf. That's fine. That's not the sport we're playing right now. That's not what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I was on a podcast this morning, and one of the questions that the host asked me is like, what do you look for in colleagues and in employees? And one of the critical things that I have seen be indicative of top performers, both in sales leadership and also just like sales people, is adaptive learning, which there was actually a really good article about adaptive learning in the last Harvard Business Review. And just thinking about the ability to connect the dots, to anticipate needs. And so if we think about like a soft skill for career advancement, and let's say we're only speaking to the folks that do want to advance in their career through a leadership pathway, like those critical thinking skills, the ability to connect the dots, the ability to anticipate needs because you are thinking a couple of steps ahead, that type of intellectual curiosity, and also empathy, because you have to have empathy to care about how an action today is going to impact your colleagues, the organization, the world tomorrow, I don't hear very many people talking about like the connectivity between those types of skills and how they manifest to help with career advancement and then help make you a great leader once you achieve a leadership position.
Well, and how often are we actually investing in our leaders and things like soft skills, right? We don't invest in that. We invest in, hey, learn this new software. Let me spend thousands of dollars for this new Salesforce certification. Like, don't get me wrong, yes, we need those things too, but when we're learning that the soft skills are the most important, those are the things we also need to be investing in. And we need to invest in those things for our leaders, and especially for the people we want to groom into leadership. 10, 15 years ago, when I was first getting into my career and I thought I wanted to move into leadership in corporate, and that was my path I was taking, I was very blessed to work for a company that poured a ton of money into that. And there was internal trainings and internal things I could do. And I went to supervisory development class and learned how to be a supervisor before I ever managed a human being. How many people can say that? Not many, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a right way to do things. And then there's a way that you just throw people into the fire, and leadership isn't that. And I would also tell people, if you're throwing your leaders into the fire, you're hurting their soft skills even more. Sorry,
yeah. No, it's so true. You know, I'm reading this comment from David about the article saying that more people are turning down promotions, and I'm seeing the same articles, David. So appreciate you sharing that comment. And I think in the context of career advancement, we often think of it meaning like career advancement to a more senior level position. But you said something earlier that was like unabashedly like, I like money. Yeah, me too. Me too. Like, I do sales because I care about helping people and I'm curious and empathetic, etc. I am not a charity. Like, I am also here to make money. And so I'm thinking about like the soft skills that would be most valuable to people who want to advance their career, and they're picturing career advancement as like, how do I get to the next level to get a higher pay band without necessarily taking on like managerial positions? Or how do I advance my career by making sure I'm finding organizations to work for that have good cultures, or the opportunity to like sell something that feels meaningful and sparks joy for me. And frankly, I think it's the same set of skills. Like, it is that like intellectual curiosity, that ability to connect the dots, like those, the soft skills are so necessary, and we don't invest in them. And I'm with you, Lauren, that like organizations have a huge responsibility to do that, and they're not. But I also find myself getting frustrated when folks aren't being invested in by their leaders, by their organizations. And so they also then choose to not invest in themselves. Like, we are our greatest resource. And yes, that does not relieve the burden for these companies to invest in us. But if you're working at a company where they aren't investing in you and you're stuck there, or you're choosing to stay there, I beg of you to invest in your own development, because that is something that nobody can ever take away from you.
Yeah. You're the CEO of your own career. And if you don't look out for your own future, you can't expect anybody else to. It's no one's job but your own to make sure that you're on the right path. And sometimes we have to stop and look in the mirror and say, is this where I want to be? And am I moving the right direction? Sometimes we've just been going down the same path for so long that we're like, we're comfortable here. This is normal. This is right. Is it really? Did you step back? Did you reassess? When was the last time you actually thought about what else you could do if this isn't what's filling your cup? And that's the other thing. If you're in a role and they're not investing in you, it's probably not filling your cup.
Yeah, I think that's true. Some really great comments here as well. Here's one more take on soft skills. I think courage is a soft skill.
Yes.
Okay, great. Step one, Lauren agrees with me.
100%.
I read Adam Grant's new book, Hidden Potential, earlier this year. Really liked it. And he has a framework paradigm. I don't know what you would call it in there. And I'm not going to get it in exactly right, folks, but like, go with me. That the path to uncovering your hidden potential is 3 steps. And he used a great example about like learning a language. And so step 1, if I want to learn Spanish, might be downloading the Duolingo app. Right? Like I'm learning it. Like I'm doing something different. I'm doing something where I'm gonna like make some mistakes probably, but like in a very low stakes environment. Right? Like if I flunk out of my Duolingo course, the only person that's going to know is me. And so then, right? So it's like, okay, you're doing it, but like you're never going to learn how to speak Spanish if the only way you're doing it is like in the privacy of your own home on a Duolingo app. So it was like, okay, the next step to uncovering your hidden potential is having the courage to fail in public or to learn to grow in public, right? Like putting yourself out there. And so maybe that is like getting a tutor. So it's not all the way public, but like you are now exposing to somebody else that you don't know what you're doing. There's like that requires a lot of humility. That requires a lot of courage because you will make mistakes, you will like fail. And then the final layer is going all the way. And the example he used is like going up to a stranger that speaks Spanish and trying to spark a conversation, or like going to a foreign country there where people don't really speak English and like seeing if you can hack it, where you are going to feel those pains of like rejection and embarrassment and failure because you are doing something so far outside of your comfort zone. And I think that takes so much courage. And I believe courage is such an underrated and under-discussed soft skill.
I love it. I always tell people if you can lean into being uncomfortable, which is courage, if you can lean into that, you will go so much further than other people. But many people are, and it's y'all, if you're like, oh, I could never, that's okay. It's a muscle that you build, that you work out, that you work on. It's not something that you might just have, and that's okay. But it's something that you have to do anyway in order to build that muscle. All right, we got Jamie Yates in the house. What's up, Jamie? Hello, hello. Jamie says that tenacity is a soft skill. I really agree with you, Jamie. And thank you, Michelle. She just dropped the book.
Thanks, Michelle.
That Leslie's talking about. Adam Grant's awesome. I wish he'd connect with me on LinkedIn.
He's so good. Years ago, when I didn't realize how big of a deal Dan Pink was, and I just read To Sell Is Human, whatever the name of that book is. I just sent him this like really heartfelt note that was like, I love this book so much, blah, 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 blah. Accepted my invite. And so now we're first degree friends. And like, it was probably 2 years later that I realized that he is an internationally renowned, like best selling author. And I was just like, hey, Dan, hope you're having a great, loved your book.
But people are normal people at the end of the day. And if you treat people like normal people, they react better to that. So there you go.
And it was heartfelt. Like I really meant it. The book had an impact on me. So wait, one more thing that you like scratched at the surface of, but I think is such an important part of the conversation around soft skills is that when we talk about hard skills, people inherently understand that those are things that you have to learn, that you have to do courses on, that you have to go to school to learn. It is like the default assumption that hard skills are going to be things that you have to put in the hard work to learn and master. But for whatever reason, then when it comes to soft skills, people often lead with like you have it or you don't. I'm just not a good listener. I'm just not very tenacious. And that's bullshit.
Yes, it is.
Curse. Okay. Bullshit. And like, I love what you said, that it's like, it's a muscle and you have to work the muscle. It is a skill. And if it's a skill, that means we have to practice it if we want to get better at it. And that is true with empathy, with curiosity, with active listening, with tenacity, with courage, with adaptive learning. Like all of those things are muscles that need to be used if you want to be stronger in those areas. And you should want to be stronger.
You should want to. If you take nothing else away from this conversation, you should want to advance your soft skills. Please know that. Okay, we got to move to the second topic. We're 25 minutes in. The power of deep work, cultivating focus in a distracted world. And I'm gonna be very straightforward with you all. This is not my topic. This is Leslie's topic all day long. I think I could learn from Leslie a lot about this topic. So we go back and forth, Leslie, but you got to carry this one. Take us away with the power of deep work.
This is one of my favorite topics. I would love to hear from the folks that are joining us in the comments if any of them have any sort of deep work practice. And a deep work practice could look like maybe you meditate, maybe it's like yoga, maybe you do time blocking, or like the Pareto principle or something like that. So I'd love to hear from folks if any of them have any sort of deep work practice. The reason that I'm so passionate about this, and that I felt like it was very adjacent to the soft skills conversation, is that deep work is really hard for people. And it's really hard for people because we are addicted to hyperarousal. It's not our fault. Like, it is a society we live in. It is the addictive social media apps. It is the flashing billboards and the noises and the everything dinging at us all the time. So like, know that if you really struggle to focus, like, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. It is a skill though. Like, deep work is a skill, which means, like every other skill we've discussed, if you want to get better at it, and you should want to get better, you have to put in the work to practicing. So what's so fascinating about this, Lauren, is that, like, unequivocally, the science shows that we can rewire our neural pathways. Like, we can build new neuroplasticity to bias towards deep work and away from that, like, dopamine seeking addiction to hyper arousal that so many of us struggle with now. And me too. Like, I'm good at this. I'm not perfect at this. Like, let's TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a little bit of an issue with TikTok.
Maybe, baby, little issue.
It's so good.
I got rid of the app.
Oh, I could never. I'm like genuinely addicted.
Yeah, I like this, Jody. I like disconnecting from LinkedIn on the weekends.
Oh, that's so good. That's such a good example.
I had to sell my Apple Watch. It was dinging too much. Dinging. I couldn't do it. It was way too many notifications for me to go away.
Apple Watches are extremely intrusive. I am not a fan of them. I think we've talked about this before, but I keep two separate phones, like literally two full separate phones.
Yep.
And this one is my work phone, More Women, More Sales. And it's where my LinkedIn, Twitter, my email, and my Slack live. And at the end of the day, this stays in my office, or I turn it off, because I don't even want to have to waste the willpower and the decision making on deciding on, like, resisting the temptation to check my Slack, to check my email, to check my LinkedIn, because I crave those dopamine hits.
Yeah,
we all do, right? So I really remove those temptations from myself.
I mean, I think just being able to remove the temptation can take a lot of deep work in and of itself, because so many of us are just used to consistently having it. But if you think about it, we limit screen time for our kids, right? We limit these things. We know it's not good for them. It's not good for us either. But we don't take into account what's good for us. We're just, self-care is 6 hours of Netflix or 4 hours of scrolling TikTok. It's probably not. Go read that Adam Grant book that Leslie was talking about. Do something meaningful with your time. Go work out. Go outside. Spend some time with your kids. Touch grass. I don't know. Look, Jamie says, I'm doing 3 different things right now: listening to you, answer emails, and researching job opportunities. That's a lot.
I'm going to give you a pass because one of them is listening to us.
But that's a lot.
But I also think, and Jamie, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us, because it leads to a really important conversation around this, like, myth of multitasking that we've all been fed our entire lives. Like, y'all, do you remember in the aughts when, like, that was a resume bullet point? You would literally put on your resume, like, I'm an expert multitasker. And like, we did not understand that multitasking it's a huge L. Like, it is not a thing, like, unequivocally, multitasking is not a thing. We are not doing multiple things at once. What we are doing is rapidly switching between tasks, which means we are never giving any single task 100% of our attention, which means it is going to take us longer to do, and we are going to do it at a lower quality. Like, full stop. Multitasking is not, like, it is not something that we should aspire to be better at, because we are never going to be better at it, because it's not a thing you can be good at. The brain is not built that way. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be like making dinner and watching a true crime documentary. Don't get me wrong, folks. But when it comes to deep work and cultivating focus in a distracted world, it is so important to admit to ourselves that we can't be like writing a proposal and also in the middle of writing the proposal, like opening our Slack and answering a quick Slack and answering a quick LinkedIn message and checking our phone and doing this and doing that. Because while that is, multitasking and we're getting more things done, it is going to take us longer to do the proposal, and the outcome is going to be of lesser quality because we didn't give it the focused attention that it deserved.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Mark says that he's a super multitasker, but he knows if he focuses, it will take him 20 minutes single-threaded versus 40 multitasking. There we go. It's the timing. This is a major point in basic agile training. Yes, Andrew, but a lot of people don't go through that. So thanks for sharing it. People would never know if we don't talk about it. I think we forget how long it can take our brains to switch. Yes, Michelle. Multitasking takes too much context. Here we go. Everybody agrees.
Okay. No. I mean, you have the guests. You have the guests that get it. But like, here's the thing that I have struggled with. Even though this is something that I have read genuinely like 20 plus books on. Like, I have even read some of the scientific papers. Like, I've listened to the TED Talks. Even though this is something that I study deeply, even though it is something that I practice, I'll catch myself in the middle of a call, suddenly like answering an email completely unrelated to the call. Like, it is it is a hurdle, because we are just dopamine seeking creatures over here. So I would love to leave folks with a call to action, to be like, we're all imperfect. We're all fighting an uphill battle against the society that we live in and how many distractions we have. But I beg of you to practice deep work the same way you would practice golf, the same way you would practice learning how to code. Like genuinely, there is no skill, I think, that will be more important for personal and professional growth, especially in the next 10 years as we become a more distracted society, than really having the neural pathways built that default to deep focus.
All right, y'all, you got some action takeaways from the call from Leslie. Homework. Didn't know you were going to get homework.
I love Jamie's comment.
We got to go on to Hot 5 Friday. We got Miss Michelle Craig waiting in the background. If you haven't been here before, that's when we celebrate people and their wins and their accomplishments. It can be your win. It could be somebody else's win. You can celebrate anybody, everybody. We just love to talk about the amazing things happening on LinkedIn and in our networks. So, Leslie, see you in just a second. Be right back. And y'all, after the break, we're going to talk about balancing innovation and human skills. Make sure you come back. Also, redefining leadership, empathy, inclusivity, and innovation. And then at the very end, if you've been here before, we're going to have a fun Friday fact. And Leslie always has the best facts. So hold on for that one. And let me find Miss.
What is up, y'all? Happy Friday. I'm rocking my Quota Path Get Paid hat because I'm manifesting that for all of us this week and going into the next week and next year. Awesome conversation, by the way. I'm like taking notes over here. Always love it. Leslie, you're always an amazing guest here on the show. So we are going to jump into high fives. Before we get into the official ones, our number one fan, Daniela Hanna, did sneak one in. So we're going to grant her that access to be able to have me share that today. She wants to give a high five to Natalie. Natalie has been supporting Telecom Realty as a transaction coordinator for over 3 years and always goes the extra mile. She's hardworking and keeps the team organized. And I'm going to add this, keeps those wheels on the bus going round and round. Now into our official high fives here, we've got Brett for Nikki. Her work in diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring and her work with the disabled community deserves a huge shout out. Next up, we have Gina for Kathleen. I want to give a high five shout out to Kathleen, aka KQV, for 2 reasons. As a first time author, KQV was my fairy book mother who took the time to give me valuable advice that helped me navigate my book writing and publishing process. Part 2, as a fellow breast cancer survivor working with the Susan G. Komen organization, she is a champion for women's health. She posts regularly on LinkedIn. Go and follow her. Love that. All right, next up we have Erin for Cheryl. Cheryl is such a positive force, using her platform to uplift others. Cheryl never misses an opportunity to shout someone out, so I'm taking this moment to return the favor. Follow her page to see more uplifting content in the IT space. Coming up, we've got Andrew Gibbs for Steve Davenport. A friend since our college days, Steve recently helped me break through a logjam with a prospective employer. While I didn't get the job, Steve's responsiveness and constructive feedback far exceeded anything I received from any other employer in my job search. Thank you for going the extra mile. We have 2 more. I'm so excited. You guys really came in hot this week. I love it. Next up, we've got Jackie for Kay. Kay is on the other side of the world, but always there to check in on me, comment on posts, and send me positive vibes. She was the first one to check on me when I shared a sad post recently, and it really made the world to me as she has enough to keep her busy without worrying about me so far away, and it has shown how truly special she is. Last but not least, we've got Danielle for Jonathan. Jonathan and Friends hosts a weekly mentorship program for job seekers. It's an amazing free resource. Danielle would love to see that link. Go ahead and drop that in the comments. But again, thank you everyone for participating. Remember, all you have to do is drop your high fives. We share them weekly, and Lauren and I love to celebrate y'all.
Love it, love it. And hey, Michelle, I'm trying to convince my mother to come on with your mother. So if you're watching in the comments, comment if you want our moms to come on the show as special guests. I have one day. It's actually my mom's birthday. And I'm asking if I know Michelle's mom is in, but my mom is watching. She commented. Ellen is who it is if you want to tag Ellen. But let's convince Ellen to come on the show and give us a little bit of knowledge, because it's where I got a lot of mine from. Maybe I don't think my dad will pop on, but probably my mom. We'll see. Anyway.
I love it. Yeah, Ellen, you got to do it. You and Daniela can come on and share how to raise such strong, badass women as you'll have.
How to deal with us on a bad day. I don't know. Really? All right, Michelle. Happy Friday. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
Happy Friday. Bye.
All right. That was a lot of high fives, y'all. We don't normally get that many. I'm so happy you all showed up and left some high fives. It's fun to celebrate other people. I'm just like a giver. I really enjoy doing it. So please take the link, take the QR code. Michelle knows what's about to happen. It's my show. I could be silly. You can scan this code on top of my face right now to leave a high five for next week. Get your camera out, scan it, take a picture, save it for later, whatever you want to do. All right, let me get Leslie back.
Hi. I'm a big +1 for a mom's episode.
Oh, I really want her to do it.
I think she should. Ellen, if you're still listening, you better do it.
I think she's still listening. She's not going to comment now, but we got some people who, Ellen, you should come on the show. Let's go, Ellen. Yeah, come on. We're super friendly. Yeah, come on. They're friendly. Got some good commenters and guests showing up. I think it'd be fun. I don't know.
It'd be so fun. I love it.
She's never done anything like this, so she probably hates me in the background, but love you, Mom. You raised me and you told me to put myself out there. So here we go. Come on my live show.
Okay, but how to raise strong daughters that are willing to advocate for others and take up space is an important topic. And I think your mom would have a valuable take on it.
I agree with that. I think that's so important. All right. Thanks, Michelle. Here is the link, y'all. Michelle dropped it there, so you didn't have to scan my face. But if you scan my face, thanks for being silly with me. Okay, we have 2 more topics. Not enough time. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about balancing innovation and human skills, because it's like we're losing the latter with the first. I don't know. Am I crazy?
No. No, you're not crazy. I feel like, I don't know, I think about this a lot in the context of sales, because obviously that is, the world that I am entrenched in. And like, I wonder if in some ways we have done a disservice to sellers, especially sellers that maybe started their career in the last like 5 years, 5 to 8 years, by supplying them with these huge tech stacks, which are like, they're great. The technology is amazing. My tech stack is robust. Like, I love all of the ways that it helps make my job easier, that it like helps me get access to information that I might not be able to access otherwise. But on the other hand, I'm like, a lot of the sellers, because they are so reliant on their tech stack, just don't, they're like not solutions oriented. And like, I see this come up often. And I mean, sometimes it's something as simple as like, hey, well, like, why aren't you doing phone calls to that prospect? And they're like, oh, I don't have their number. Their number wasn't in the CRM. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, what have you done to get their number? And it's just blank stare. And because it wasn't handed to them on a silver platter, they don't take the time to like get a mainline number and call somebody and like ask to be transferred in, or like ask for a mobile. So I think that was a very long way of saying that while innovation should bolster creativity, I think sometimes it can stifle creativity.
Yeah. It's taking away from like critical thinking skills, in my opinion. If you are, especially if you're in sales, but if you're in leadership, if you're in, I don't know, in any job, you should be able to think about the 5 irons in the fire and what you have ahead of you. And yes, there's a lot of tools and innovation that will help you with that. But the biggest thing that's going to get you ahead, I think, if you've been watching from this episode, let's go back to the first topic. It's your soft skills. It's your human skills. It's the things that make people want to be in the room with you. And that matters. You don't have to be the biggest extrovert. You don't have to be the biggest people person. If you're thinking that that's what I mean, that's not what I mean. But you have to be the person that people can rely on, that people think of in the moment. And a lot of that is your human skills. It's how you show up. And it's that when it comes time for the balance of innovation and the human skills, you prove that you have the skills that you can. I call it the figure it out mentality, right? I'm not going to lean on my tech stack to the point that I'm ever going to tell somebody, oh, I couldn't figure it out. It wasn't in the system. What? If you're, and also, and Leslie, tell me your opinion, but if my company is going to spend this much money on giving me a tech stack that's this robust or whatever it may be, I should be trying everything in my power to figure it out, especially if it's not in the tech stack. I shouldn't just be doing the simple steps in the system and saying, oh, well, can't do it, move on. What? Who are you? Who are you?
Yeah, I think that there's a real risk of falling into the habit of just checking the boxes. Because they, like, don't get me wrong, I literally create processes for a living. Like, that is what I do to pay my mortgage. But, and I think Andrew made a comment that's very adjacent to this. What happens is that we create processes that are so seller centric or like company centric, it becomes like we're just showing up and checking the boxes, and we're not thinking about like what it means or why we're doing it or how it fits into the whole puzzle of boxes. And the result is that we are like driving these really like seller centric actions instead of taking a moment to step back and be like, wait, why am I even doing this? Does this serve the person that I'm trying to reach out to? Is this even relevant to the buyer? So we kind of become automatons.
Lee wants to know if it helps if he brings cookies.
Always.
Crumble cookies. No, I don't care. Any cookies help.
Oh, did Joel just show up?
Joel cookies. Joe showed up and he called us two of the best.
Oh,
Thanks, Joel.
thanks, friend.
Joel came on the show. You go back and check out his episode. I can't multitask, or I would drop it in the chat for you all, but that's not happening. Sorry, Joel. You can find it and drop it if you're still here. Jody says, having those resources now can be so helpful, and there are so many different ones to try. Shoot, back in the day, you would have to open up the yellow pages. I remember opening up the yellow pages and trying to find the phone number of the boy I liked in middle school and calling like 6 of the Smiths on the street I thought he lived on. Yeah, it happened. Whatever. We finally got on the phone, but I remember that. I'm aging myself.
That's so cute. But I think like Jody's absolutely nailed it. That these innovations are incredible. They're so incredible, in fact, that like if an organization is not investing in the type of technology that easily gets their reps clean data, that automates things that don't need to be done manually, that like removes those sort of like low risk, low value tasks, they're going to have a really hard time retaining and then replacing that talent. So how do we create an environment that is a great place to work, where we are enabling our reps, our employees with tech, and also not allowing that tech to replace creativity and critical thinking and a solutions orientation to the work we do?
It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's something that I think people are also like, we talk about all of these skills. They're a muscle you have to grow. This is something that a lot of people are going to have to learn. Where is the line? Right. And you're probably going to have to toe the line for a little while. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot. When I get on the call, and if you're watching right now and I said this to you, it's no offense to you. I say this to a bunch of people I talk to. But when I get on the call with candidates, and one of the things we talk about is optimizing your LinkedIn. The first thing I say when I talk to somebody, I go, your about section was written with AI. What? I'm like, your about section was written with AI. I can tell. But I tweaked it. I'm like, not enough, because the last 6 profiles I looked at today were very similar to yours. They all have kind of the same structure and format. And I talk to people for a living. I review resumes and LinkedIn profiles. And at some point, they're all the same. And yours is the same as a bunch of other people that I talk to. Yes, it's customized for you, but it's the same.
Yeah.
And people aren't realizing that. Mac from Comsor posted. And he was interviewing for roles, and a bunch of people who sent things, it was like all AI, and it was wrong and outdated. And it was like, we can tell.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be much shorter, just a little tiny note about why right now, whatever. Like, who cares? I don't need the AI fluff. And that's what I think it's turning into. It's
It
fluff.
is so fluffy. It is like one of the conversations that I've been having for 2 years when it comes to AI is using it as an assistive tool versus using it as a replacive tool. And what I'm really seeing in these past few months, because it is enough places, like it's on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's like, use AI to write this section. It's enough places and it's good enough where people think it is replacive. So instead of using AI as like a thought partner to write a good cover letter, but then ultimately they're using like what AI gave them to leapfrog, they're going to save time, possibly get a better outcome to write the cover letter. They're just like, AI, just write it for me. And then they don't edit it. And then they hit send. And it is like, that's not it.
Okay, Gregory, I can't break it down specifically right now, but there is like a structure to the way it is written. If you give me some time, I'm traveling next week, but I'm happy to find a few, because there's a million out there, and I will literally send you screenshots of like 5 or 6, and you'll tell once I start sending them to you that the structure, the format, the way the sentences are written, the last sentence about let's connect and innovate, whatever it is, it's AI all day. And it's just obvious. People write differently. And I understand that we use
Sure.
AI to assist us in writing, and that's one of the great reasons we have it. But people are also looking for you to be yourself, and we're looking for some personality. And I'd rather there be a typo or an error in your punctuation than me knowing that everything in front of me is AI.
For sure. I feel like, yeah, like warm greetings for sure, Tom. I feel like a lot of them that are so obvious are like in the sales space. Like never ever has somebody that actually knew what they were talking about typed that. I feel like the really big one for me that makes it so obvious are like cringy metaphors and metaphorical language, where they'll be like, I'll be the ship that sails your company to smooth seas. I'm like, what? Like, that is, nobody talks like that.
Could you imagine if you did? Oh my gosh. It's like when there was the option a long time ago to like put your Facebook in like pirate speak, and it's like, who talks like that? That's insane. No, don't do that.
I do not remember that, but that's very funny.
Oh God, I remember that. It was awful. Okay, we have another topic, but the one thing I want to bring up really quick, you and I think both have this like really big love for caviar. And I saw you post your caviar bumps. So I posted a picture of my caviar bump, and I had somebody ask me, what is a caviar bump? So I'm gonna share this really quick. Okay, so this is me and Leslie.
No, this is just, I was like, no, that's just a whole screen. Oh yeah, now it's us. Look at us go.
So this is me and Leslie. Leslie had a double fisting. But Leslie, tell the people watching, what is a caviar bump?
Yeah, I had like $80 of caviar in my hands. Get it? Thank you, women in sales. So it was all due respect, Alexine from Women in Sales, the founder of Women in Sales. It was her idea. And so it was sort of like reclaiming like toxic bro culture. She was like, you always see all of these guys out like, doing whatever, doing their caviar bump. So she was like, we're going to do it. Like, we're going to bring out the good stuff. And like one of the things with caviar is that you're not supposed to touch it with metal because it like crushes the balls and it changes the flavor. So they scoop it out on your hand and then you like lick your hand to do the caviar bump. So it was so fun. It was so playful. It was so like celebratory. And I think it was a really like silly but meaningful way to like reclaim space and reclaim some of the sales culture as our own. And it was delicious.
I love it. And it's delicious.
It was delicious. A bunch of people tried it at that event for the very first time, which was also super fun to see people like step out of their comfort zone and try something new, or maybe like get access to a product because it is pricey that they like haven't had access to before. So that was a really cool thing to see as well.
I love it. There's a place by me where I did my caviar bump, and they do a late night happy hour, and caviar bumps are on the late night happy hour for $20.
That's amazing.
You
and
gotta
no
go
brainer.
Like 12 to 1.
Oh, it would be difficult for me to stay up that late. But if I was up that late, let's be honest, it'd be more likely that I'd have to wake up again.
That's true. Plus, you'd have a good nap, and then she'd be ready for all caviar. All right, last topic of the day. We still have the Fun Friday fact and the giveaway. We're going to move through this one quickly. We're just going to talk about like top 3 points on redefining leadership. We've talked a lot about empathy. Let's maybe focus on inclusivity and innovation.
I will, since we have to move through this like really fast, I will maybe just share a single thought, which is a call for people to explore the difference between inclusivity and equity, or maybe more importantly, between like equality and equity, because we hear folks often talk about like diversity and like all these initiatives to hire diverse talent, but then that diverse talent is hired into an environment that's unsafe. And we hear people talk a lot about equality, but like equality can often be meaningless without the equity work that goes behind it, which is an acknowledgement of the fact that folks from underrepresented backgrounds often have to do twice as much work to get to the same exact outcome. So if you are a leader and you want to have more of that emotional quotient, I would really start by exploring the difference between like diversity and inclusivity and equity and equality.
I think those are things that a lot of people think they understand, but we haven't actually done the work to dig deep under the surface. And I think that a lot of times it can just become a buzzword in a company for culture, right? It's just a thing. We have it. Everybody's got to have it. No. It's actually something that takes a lot of work to look underneath and say, okay, what is this versus that? How am I truly affecting my employees? And what am I doing to set them up where they walk into a role that is truly supportive for them? And then at the end of the day, how are you innovating to do those things? Because nothing matters if you don't take action. And we can all sit in a boardroom and we can all talk about what's good and we can all say X, Y, and Z. But if we don't actually take decisive action and move forward, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Bias towards action is so important. And I think like we talked a lot about courage and the importance of courage. And if we talk about something that requires a tremendous amount of courage, it is having these very difficult conversations and then being a champion, like taking that action. And I think it requires courage as well to admit that like you have your own biases and that you're not perfect. And I think something that often holds people back is that they think in order to like be a champion, be an ally, take this action, that they suddenly have to be like perfect. Like, y'all, I'm not perfect. Like, I'm living in the same society you all are. Like, we all have our biases. We are all like working on ourselves. You don't have to be perfect to start doing the work.
Amen. Amen. All right. We are almost done. Almost. We still have the Fun Friday fact. But before we do that, don't forget, if you comment hashtag Sendoso, you will be entered to win Dorothy Lane Killer Brownie Cookie Dough 5-count bars. You do have to ship them to somebody in the United States. I will show you what they look like one more time because we are visual people. Here you go. It's just 5-count bars, y'all. And if you like it, go support the people that make these things, right? Go take a demo with Sendoso. Learn how gifting can actually help your sales process or whatever it is you do. Y'all, I use Sendoso for my clients after deals are done. It's not even in like the process of, oh, do you want to be my client? Here's a gift card to take a meeting. I don't even do that. But once deals are closed and signed, I'm sending something. Like that's how I use Sendoso, and it's amazing for me. So don't just eat the bars. Go buy the bars from the people and go check out the people who are doing this for us, Sendoso. Okay, let's tell the world. I'm sure you got a good one. What is your Fun Friday fact?
Lauren, you're going to kill me. I like to not prepare one.
Oh, do you remember what you told us last time? I talk about you all the time.
Oh my God, was it Unhinged? What was it?
No, it was funny. Last time you told us why flamingos are pink.
Because I'm obsessed with flamingos because they're the coolest animal.
So tell us another flamingo fact.
Oh, I mean, everything about flamingos is amazing. They drink boiling water. They can drink salt water. They can sleep in frozen. Oh, I could talk about fun facts for flamingos all day long. What if I tell you a terrible joke?
Okay, I'm okay with that.
What do you call a broken boomerang?
What?
A stick.
Okay, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And I'm like sitting in like a halo of sun as well. I've become angelic. I'm telling bad jokes. Like, good gosh. Does that mean it's Friday afternoon?
Yes, it's definitely changed throughout the time that we've been on the thing, but I'd like to see it evolve. Y'all, my Fun Friday fact is that polls are not dead on LinkedIn if you post something polarizing, which is what I did today. And it's already got over 100 comments. 100 comments. I don't even care about likes. Nobody likes the poll, but 100 comments on my poll. Like, y'all are going at it. So go comment and let me know how long is too long to wait on a Zoom call if it's an interview.
Ooh, that is polarizing. Wait, I also have a fun fact.
Oh, we got one.
Fun mostly to me. Did you know that Friends was on air at the same time as Murder, She Wrote?
What?
Make those math in your head.
Oh, I gotta go look now. Okay. All right. Let's do the giveaway. I'm just like, what? Y'all, by the way, if you're not watching the new Matlock, you're missing out. There you go. 7 people entered the Sendoso drawing. Let's go. Who's it gonna be? Oh, look, my mom's in there too. She's never won. Maybe one day. Jackie, Nadine, Jody, David, Randy, Jackie Hopper. Love this for Jackie. Jackie also left a high five today. Thanks, Jackie. Y'all, this was fun. Leslie, final words for the people?
I just appreciate all of you.
This was so much fun. I'm so happy every time you come on the show. All right, y'all. This was great. You know what I say. If you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.